We need peace.
The town of Floresville, preparing for a vice presidential visit.
This little town has been hit.
A vigil for the victims in Sutherland Springs.
And it's about coming together and supporting the community.
A preparation suddenly interrupted.
No, you can't go in. Matter of fact, there's an unrelated police emergency nearby. We don't know more. I don't want to talk about it, especially on camera. So.
Event security moved people inside.
They didn't really give me any details. They said that there was some danger.
Down the road, reports of a man firing a gun.
The call came out as an active shooter near the nursing home.
Dozens of police and deputies rushed in looking for a gunman.
The vice president being here, the response was overwhelming.
But in the end, after all this, there was no man with a gun.
What we've determined is that it was probably a false alarm.
Floresville police say 2 people believe they saw something, heard something, that led them to call 911. Just as we started talking to police,
They've got somebody?
a rush to another report of a man with a gun. Police say he had 2, a pistol and an AR-15.
His explanation was that he was reacting to the first incident, and as a veteran wanted to protect the veterans' home, it being close to the vicinity of the first incident.
A community tired and on edge.
Nerves are probably shot to a large extent.
But here, tonight, everyone got to go home.
Everyone needs to calm down. Everyone needs to be vigilant, but follow proper protocol and let us do our job.
Anastasia Bolton, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.
Pretty amazing the way they responded.
After a crash closes a section of the interstate, some look for who's to blame.
Never had an accident, never came close to one.
But not Leonard Josatiwa. He needed to look.
Thank God I'm alive.
For people to thank.
Well, I was coming up the highway. I was in the fast lane.
Leonard was hauling 14 tons of asphalt west on I-70 over 6th Avenue.
All of a sudden, there was a red truck in front of me spinning out. And then I hit the bridge, and with 14 tons moving like that, out of control, I should have went over.
Leonard didn't go over the bridge.
So I thank God nobody was driving by when them hit the ground.
But his front tires did.
There's one over there, and then there's one over there.
That's why Leonard wants to thank an engineer.
Whoever made that bridge made it right, and it saved my life. Thank God I'm alive.
He wants to thank fellow drivers, too.
And witnesses and that were behind me, they all brought out first aid kits. They're the ones that bandaged me up right here on my wrist. Didn't even know me. They were hugging me, telling me, "Are you okay?" People are amazing.
Hard not to smile.
Kind of still like in a wonderland,
Leonard has too many to thank for keeping him on the right side of the guardrail.
One of the state patrolmen told me you had an angel on your shoulder today.
Noel Brennan.
I said, thank God I did.
9 News.
The day never brought a horizon. Only another suffocating curtain that continued its march east.
Oh, it's brutal. It's been blowing 60 miles an hour.
Firefighters say the fire's main run came Monday when it burned through 26 square miles in 8 hours.
That's what's left of the tree row.
Of those, 43 acres.
Most of that building's gutted and burned out.
Belonged to Steve Waller.
And then this garage here, the inside of it burned out.
Steve was there when the flames arrived.
It just gone in a flash.
His trees were the first to go. Then everything else.
We lost 2 buildings and 1 truck and tire pasture, tree row, everything.
Everything. Except
it ripped right through here.
This.
North side of that Quonset. Never burned the grass.
The home Steve moved into 15 years ago endured. This is the only damage.
You can see where the fire trucks are parked right here, keeping things watered down, so.
A testament to the men and women who work so hard to save the dozens of other homes like it.
I mean, these guys have been great, and they've been working really hard. I'm really appreciative of everything they've done. These guys probably don't get enough credit for what they do.
4 families will return to their homes less fortunate than Steve.
It's been pretty ugly.
But as firefighters work towards full containment,
Good people out here.
the horizon will begin to show itself once more.
They did a tremendous job.
In Haxton, Dan Grossman, 9 News.
What can we help you with today?
A fresh start is rarely a lonely endeavor,
How do you take your coffee?
so it's only fitting that many of them start here.
Is there anything else I can help you with while we wait?
This is City Square,
There you go.
Thank you.
a place that connects our homeless neighbors with the people and the resources they need to start over: food, employment assistance, and today,
Got a bunch of bikes back there today.
transportation.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All of it free of charge to people who need it.
Well, you know, in this economy, and
People like Brian Carter.
you just deal with it.
Brian lost his job 3 years ago.
Use my 401k and everything to pay for the rent.
He paid off the rest of his lease, filed for bankruptcy, moved in with a friend, and worked wherever he could, searching for his fresh start.
Applying for jobs, one job after another, making phone calls.
That perseverance
But it only makes you stronger.
paid off this week.
Yes, I just got a new job, and I'm working at night as a mail sorter, and it's temp to hire. And I came here today just to get a bike. Hi, Dave. I talked to you on the phone. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Cityscape partners with Recycle Bicycles
You know, I'm not really picky.
to give bikes to those in need.
This bike, 10 speed.
It's hard to start over all by yourself.
And if you have trouble with it, you bring it back here, we'll fix it for you.
Good thing Brian Carter's not alone. For Next, I'm Steve Steger.
It's over here!
Consider the periodic interludes.
And each year it gets better.
Consider them. The calm before the swarm.
I mean, I don't even think I can put it in words, honestly.
Nope.
Not even Jeremy Valenzuela
A lot of lights.
will pretend to fathom the true extent of this luminous lunacy.
And there's a Santa!
It's a ton of work.
Now in his 19th year,
But nothing good in life comes without a little hard work, right?
Mike Medhurst has yet to meet a bulb he doesn't light.
And to see the smiles on their faces is priceless. That's my gift. They come out to see the lights, and I come out to see the smiles on their faces.
His own tribute to Christmas. And as American as apple pie, if that pie also contains 180,000 lights and its own low-powered FM radio station.
If you play music in your car, the lights will like follow the beat of the music.
Yet in this corner of Greeley's 50th Avenue Court, you can't blame the neighbors for considering, if not downright deliberating, the stark difference between the haves and the have not so much.
They're getting a little creaky in the old age, but they're good.
Diana and Kenny Behrens
What is like an appetizer?
live in a world where competition is simply not an option.
You really don't have to when you have that down there.
I mean, it's quite the show.
Neighborhood newbie Aaron Hansen,
I got the icicles up on the house,
knew he was in for it the moment he saw his neighbor putting up lights weeks before Halloween.
I was like, wow, man, this guy really goes all out.
His response?
Got the holograms up, and I got a snowflake that doesn't really work.
No, they say they do not consider this a reflection of themselves, even though
I always said that I was just going to put mirrors on my roof and we were just going to reflect off of his lights.
And so what if the egress occasionally stinks?
There's a lot of traffic.
And if their lights seldom blink?
But I was thinking maybe next year a little bit more.
Around here, they figure, sometimes it's simply easier
I like to add a tree.
to share in the spotlight
That'd be kind of cool.
when you're still well within reach of its all-powering glow.
This is beyond crazy.
It's Vanderby. 9 News.
Like anything else, there are degrees of gratitude. There's the gratitude Les Mendelson feels to the Honor Flight volunteers who took him to Washington and back. And then there's the gratitude they feel for Les and all those who served. We're about to witness 360 degrees of gratitude as Les is welcomed home.
Wow.
A 360 camera allows us to see Les and see what Les sees. These World War II vets had no idea all these people would be waiting. Is that a familiar face he sees? We'll know in a moment.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
An honor guard, stoic, until an extended hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Les's eyes are ahead on the gauntlet of good wishes. Not sure he even saw some of the youngest gathered in his honor.
Wow.
He was but a little older
Thank you. Thank you.
when he enlisted in the Navy and fought in the South Pacific.
Thank you. Oh.
For a moment, it almost seems to overwhelm him. All these people.
Thank you.
All of them strangers. All but one. I don't think Les possibly could have spotted his wife by now. He knows she's here. She's been slipping along behind the cadets, behind the flags. Look, there she is, behind the sign. His eyes are elsewhere as she makes her move. Les's wife, Carol, gets a cheer of her own as Les is handed a sign of his service.
Thank you. Thank you.
In 2 minutes, Les Mendelson has witnessed an amazing degree of gratitude. And even he only saw half of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks. Stay. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
The end of the parking garage
right here, sir,
is the beginning of a new life.
Well, I'm doing well, thank you.
For William Weinacht.
You need a receipt, sir?
He's a cashier in a job.
Do you need a receipt, sir?
That can get
need a receipt?
A bit.
Do you need a receipt today?
Monotonous.
Alrighty. In some ways, I was meant to be here in some ways. There you go.
But it is a job.
I worked IT for over 30 years, mainframe computers. Then I got laid off in 2011. And so for a couple years, I really struggled finding work.
Now, he works at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts.
Music is the language of the angels.
Where the arts are celebrated.
It's just been a part of my soul for a long time.
Where the arts are performed.
Right here.
Right here.
How you doing? Hey, I'm doing well. How you doing?
In an unusual place.
It just worked out that I ended in a place where I could sit around and you know, do this half the day, right? You know.
In between cars and customers.
Did you have a good time at the show?
Weinacht finds flute time. A simple and soothing sound, filling the parking structure. But he doesn't do it for the drivers.
Hello, hi.
Flute practice going?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
He doesn't do it because he works at the Performing Arts Center.
Well, heck, here, let me show you.
Meeting the artists.
Those are autographs. People come by, like Yumi Wang Williams. She's a concert master of the symphony. Bill Hill, he's a percussionist.
He does this for himself.
Cool thing about this is it makes a perfect music stand.
As a man who once struggled. Now rediscovering himself through music.
Yeah, I reached a point where, you know, I was starting to feel pretty low. But somehow things like that work out because I ended up here and It seems like I almost belong here.
Jam on those tunes, brother.
Oh, yes, sir. Exactly.
At the end of the parking garage, performing art. With photojournalist
I hate it when I have to work at work.
Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
Hey, I'm well. How about yourself?
At night, the memories feel less distant,
It seems like this happened yesterday at times.
more clear.
It doesn't seem like 5 years. It seems like this just happened.
Memories.
I still struggle with it.
Lieutenant Jed Lanigan knows he's about to take what amounts to a stroll down a lane much more dark than the night that now surrounds it.
We left 12 men and women behind in that theater that night. And that bothers me.
5 years ago,
Dispatch to all units, stand by for Apache, please.
to the minute.
We're gathered once again in commemoration of the Aurora Century Theater shooting.
12:38 a.m.
We'd like to acknowledge our 12 members of the community who died that night. I'd ask for a moment of silence now. Dispatch, if you'll hold the air for a moment.
It started 1 year after the shooting, a procession of officers who responded. And year after year, those officers have returned to drive, in some cases, the same route they took July 20th, 2012.
They did a job that no man or woman should ever have to do.
Some have yet to fully heal. Some still dread the feelings this inevitably exhumes.
We start reliving it, we start having dreams about it again.
Yet every year, not long after they turn yet another corner, they're provided with nothing more than living proof that not all memories are dark. No one told the families of the dead or the survivors they needed to be here. Every time the officers have no idea if they'll show. Not once has anyone left disappointed.
And they're the reason why there's only 12 of those crosses out there instead of many, many more.
Providing people like Lieutenant Lanigan.
That's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
A good reason not to always fear the darkness this night brings.
This is why we do it. This is why we do it.
For next, this is Chris Vanderveen.
What I try to do is make sure that they understand that every note is for them. Every note is for their loved one, and that they're not alone.
It's a place of comfort for me, honor more than anything of my husband. 3 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star, my hero, for sure. It's beautiful, thoughtful, just a great tribute to all of the war veterans out here. It's overwhelming, really.
Yep, that's the easiest way to say it, that they're not alone, that their family members are recognized and honored and remembered. Yeah, that's become my mission during this weekend. All right, Dad, where are you at? I played taps at his funeral. It was the hardest single performance I ever did, and I always take care of him first. And so that's my dad, Paul Edward. Wherever it is, he looks down on this day and he tells all of his friends that are up there, either ones that he's met or ones that he knows, and says, look what my boy's doing. Look at how he's honoring us.
Mr. Cole, he was our brother-in-law's father. He was very close to us. This is the first year I've got to see him on Memorial Day because he passed away in December. So I'm going to give this to my brother-in-law.
I want to make sure that people that are out here know that there is at least one person who can play, is willing to do this to remember them.
it's just a deep song, deep moving song, and it just goes to your core, you know?
This is a time that people feel like they're alone because they've lost their loved ones, they've lost a friend. And it's important for them to know that they're not by themselves and that there is someone out here who is taking that one extra step that they might need to get through this period of time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
It's my honor.
What a gift he's giving to people. What a gift.
And that's what it is. It's I care and I love you and I remember you. That's what TAPS is.
The memories emerge like snapshots, Polaroids.
We got people coming in.
For so many, that night exists in noise and still frame.
It was just carnage. It was just people shot.
Mental manifestations of the otherwise inexplicable.
There isn't a day goes by that I don't think about that theater. And there are so many people that still don't talk about it, that still don't release it. It's their private demon, and it haunts them. Theirs are lives forever changed by memories, some of which have faded, some of which remain raw.
And there's plenty that were there that are not sitting here right now.
8 of the 100-plus officers who responded to one of the worst mass shootings in American history.
Who's a different person today than they were 5 years ago in a big way? Is that because of July 20th?
Yes.
Yes. Is there anybody here who doesn't think about it every day?
I think
in one way or another? Yeah. It's still there.
Still there, even now.
Anybody still avoid going by that theater?
Yes.
Look at me. And
John Gonzalez, first officer in.
I could still hear the gunfire when I got to the door.
John Merrick, second in.
People everywhere. There were still people inside, people down. We didn't know how many people were tied to this.
Brian Butler, now retired.
As I'm running towards the door and people are running out, they're like, all right, here in the next 30, 45 seconds is when I get shot. So here we go.
As more than 1,000 moviegoers poured out, they ran in.
There's no one else going to come. You're it. There's no one to call. There's no one going to show up. There's no one going to take your place. If you don't do it, no one else will.
The volume of this night was just beyond your senses.
Jerry Johnsgard, the sergeant.
You become a cop for a reason. This is the reason.
I was just one of the people that was on one side of the building.
Jason Oviatt, arresting officer.
When I first saw him, I thought he was a cop.
Few people are as averse to the H word as they.
Who's a hero here?
No. Yeah, everybody who was there.
People call you guys heroes all the time.
That's super. It's a loose term. I mean, a hero is also a sandwich. So,
ask them this, however.
I'm proud of you guys, of all the guys that are around you right now.
Immensely.
And the aversion dissipates.
So the only time I actually find myself getting choked up is when I talk about how proud I am of everybody's response.
Stephen Redfern, the officer who made a critical decision.
We've got to do something. These people are dying here, and we're not getting the help we need.
In less than 30 minutes, 27 of the most seriously wounded left not in ambulances, but in police cars. An evacuation of patients unlike anything anyone in this country had ever seen.
So that's what we did, and it seemed to work.
Cars are pulling up. We're picking people up. We're putting them in cars. The next car will pull up.
That saved lives.
You guys saved some lives that night.
We like to think so.
The doctors told us afterwards that everybody who had survivable injuries survived. So
And it was everybody that responded.
Proud of them?
Absolutely.
James Waselko, war veteran.
You don't expect to see those type of things in the United States.
He carried out wounded.
How you guys are all doing?
It depends.
on?
The day.
And it's just kind of that, every once in a while, you still doing all right? Yeah, I'm doing okay. Just kind of go from there.
Yet, all right and okay aren't adjectives all of the officers might use.
You had one of the worst tasks that night.
I did.
Mike Hawkins, father of 6.
I can see it on your face. This is hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Carrying Veronica Moser Sullivan out of the theater was his assignment that night.
I could not find her pulse. And Sergeant Jonsgaard just said, "Stop it, get her out of here." And I ran out with her, and when I got into the parking lot, I realized that she had expired. And
5 years later, he can still feel every word he said to Veronica's parents.
And it was important to me that they knew that that she was taken out by Daddy, and that I have a daughter that age, and I'm very cognizant of what was lost.
What was lost for them and for him?
There was a period of time where it became kind of like a PTSD experience to carry my daughter upstairs to bed.
Just one of a multitude of memories that exist.
We weren't going to leave anybody behind.
In still frame.
That's what we get paid to do. Make an end.
Polaroid.
People lived.
Memories of a night that will forever live in the minds of those who responded so quickly.
You cannot move on from that, no. No. It will always be a part of you, for better, for worse. And I'm trying to look at the for better aspect of it.